The truth about investing in private equity is you're not investing in private equity. You're investing in a team of people that have a track record of doing something of, purchasing businesses, consolidating those businesses together, and then selling them for a higher amount of money. So you've got to be invested in those people. You've got to know who those people are. Who are the main key decision makers? Who are going to be putting the businesses together? Who's doing the due diligence? Who's managing the money? Who's taking care of the business? That's what you've got to be looking at when you're investing in private equity. But if you strip back down private equity and just go the basics. If you're going to buy a business or invest in a business, who is going to be managing that business? Think about this. I own 4 businesses that do over $1 million in revenue each, right? I don't think that's impressive at all, right? Because revenue, who cares about revenue? Revenue is bullshit. Anyway, I own 4 businesses that do over $1 million in revenue. Hatcher started Hatcher off with $14,000. It's now worth in excess of $10 million. I'm not impressed by that either. You shouldn't be impressed by this. These numbers aren't amazing. One of my other businesses, and I'll stop, I'm happy to disclose what Hatcher stuff, right? But my other ones, maybe some people don't know I own them. But, I started a business 4 years ago, spent $700,000 or invested $700,000 into it. And now it does over $2 million in profit per year in 4 years. My other business does $1.6 million in profit, been around for 2 years. I look at those ones and it's just like I buy businesses or I set up businesses in a circle around Hatcher. And I think about it going, what are going to benefit Hatcher? What more can I do to benefit my core business? And then I look at that and I go, okay, if I was to buy $1 million profitable business for $1 million. So I go, the business does $1 million in profit, I buy for $4 million. So 4 times profit. And then I buy another business that does $1 million in profit and I buy for another $4 million. So I've now invested $8 million. I invest $8 million in buying 2 businesses. I consolidate those 2 businesses into one, and minimum, I'm going to be making $2 million in profit per year. But it's no longer worth $8 million. It's worth 10 or 12 million. That's the power of buying businesses and multiplying them and consolidating them. And then they're worth more money when you go to sell them later. It's that simple. And it sounds really, really simple. And the maths is freaking phenomenal. The amount of spreadsheets that I actually do for private equity companies, the amount of acquisition roll-ups, the amount of due diligence that I do for different private equity companies is phenomenal. Like, you probably don't even realize that I have conversations on a weekly or monthly basis with different billion-dollar private equity firms about what they're doing in Australia and how they're going to execute on it. But private equity isn't about purely looking at the returns. It's looking about a 10-year strategy. It goes, do I believe this person has got what it takes to achieve a 10-year strategy to get at a special outcome that I'm looking to achieve? Because really it takes 10 years. So again, you look at Hatcher, $14,000 set it up. It's worth over $10 million today, right? But it took 10 years. And some years were bad, some years were good. And, a lot of my time's gone into it, but it took over 10 years. Now, what I want you to be thinking about is when you're going to invest, it's not how much money you're going to invest. It's who you're going to invest that money with. That's the most critical part. Like one of my mentors, JT Fox, amazing guy, actually phenomenal. Couldn't speak more highly about him and what he's taught me over the last 12 months. I've been all around Australia, speaking up on stages with him, been to the US, been to London, been to Italy. I've spoken on stage in front of tens of thousands, maybe even more, maybe 100,000 people in the last 12 months because of him, right? But he taught me this one thing. The key thing that he's taught me is it's about the people that you invested in their character. I know this massively irrational person when it comes to investing. And I see what he says and I watch what he does, and they're complete polar opposites. And I'm like, would I even trust him with my money? And the answer is no. And that's good because he doesn't have a license to manage other people's money. So he only manages his own, which is fine, right? But when you're looking to invest money, and if you're going to invest it in private equity, you've got to have absolute faith and trust in that person. And you've got to look at their track record. Do they have the runs on the board? Have they been successful previously? Or are they just successful at getting money? And there's a fund manager that I actually hate, and they're really, really, really pro Tesla, and I'm pro Tesla, right? So you guys might be able to work out who that person is. But if you look at her track record over the last 5 years or 10 years, it is absolutely dismal. I don't even know how anyone gives her money and how anyone allows her to invest their money for her. So when you're looking at private equity, you've got to think of 2 things. One, private equity is just a mechanism to buy businesses, consolidate them together, and to sell them for more money. And 2, who are you investing in? What is their track record? How well have they performed over the last 5 or 10 years? Because the reality is you're trusting them with your money. I'm Gary Brown. Keep investing and take control of your financial future.